Hey YouTube, this is Tom with TT, Tommy's Travels. Just going to do a little walk today. I want to correct a few things that I had stated on an earlier video and also add some things. So stick around and we will be right back. Alright, we're just going to do a little walk and talk. They just built this building and they're finally opening it up. There's going to be a bakery there and I'm not sure what else is going to be in there. Hello! But I just wanted to go for a walk. Just going to walk up to where the 4-lane becomes 2-lane. It's about a little over a mile round trip, so not that bad. It's been extremely hot here for the last 2 weeks. It's been in the 90s and very humid. It's only April, but there's been heat warnings and air warnings just because of the heat, pretty much all through the entire Philippines. But anyway, last video. Ooh, fire truck. Last video I said I have been here for 4 years. They arrived April 20th. And then after I did the video, I looked at my passport. And then, of course, today on my Facebook memories, I actually arrived in the Philippines permanently on April 27th. I was a week early. So today is April 27th, so I've officially been in the Philippines for 4 years. So I wanted to correct that. I was a week early. Now, some other things I was talking about. I just realized that I forgot to turn on my mic. So, but I'm not going to delete the previous part because I already said a bunch of stuff. But I forgot to turn on my mic, so now we have the mic on. So anyway, a couple things that I wanted to talk about that takes a while to get used to here in the Philippines. Walking. It is not the easiest thing in Dumaguete anyway, of walking. You have tables set up all over the place. Usually there's tables here, people selling things, people will park their scooter on the sidewalk, people will park their car on the sidewalk. So walking is not the easiest thing. Now if you go to Manila, Cebu, we call it not so much, Iloilo, there are some nice wide sidewalks. I mean, if you go downtown, even in Dumaguete, you have some pretty decent sidewalks. But here, you got uneven sidewalks, you have poles, you have trikes, you have cars, you have scooters that just park on the road, and then they have tables set up selling food, vegetables. So walking is not the easiest thing to do in the Philippines, or at least in Dumaguete. So that kind of gets on your nerves. You have to get another thing you have to deal with. You know, occasionally you have to walk into the road if you want to do any walking. This morning we took Jihoon, our male Shih Tzu, who will be 10 months old next week. We took him to the vet to have his little balls snip. We went Friday to the vet, took both dogs, did their deworming, heartworm, all that good stuff. That, you know, back in the States they would give it and it'd be 6 months or a year before you'd have to go back and do it. Here it's like every 2 months for some reason. So anyway, we had to take both dogs to the vet Friday, got that taken care of. course, the normal medication that we got was out of stock, so we had to give him another medication. And it was good for 3 months versus 2 months, but it was also over twice as expensive. So I'll figure that one out. Very noisy. So I want to show this. This is a pickleball court. Ron has picked up pickleball here. She's gone and played with her friends, and this is one of the courses. They have them all over the place. The one that she actually went to is just a little bit farther up the road, but they have a pickleball court. Of course, nobody's on it right now. They usually play late afternoon or at night because it's just too damn hot. So anyway, take the dog to the vet this morning to get his little nuts snipped off. And when we were there Friday, see, you got obstacle course, wires, scooters. Usually there's cars parked here. This is actually a nice bike. I'm not sure what that is. Nice little bike. But anyway, so we go, and the vet's like, oh, when's the last time he ate? And they told us Friday. They said, oh, after Sunday night, don't feed him anything because he's going to have surgery. So she normally feeds him around 5 or 6, usually closer to 5 p.m. But she decided, oh, since he's having surgery tomorrow, I want to make sure that all the food's out of his stomach. So I'm going to feed him at 3 p.m. So she feeds him at 3. We get to the vet this morning, and they're like, oh, what time? When was the last time he ate? And she goes, oh, 3. And he goes, oh, no, that's too long. His last meal should have been like 10 p.m. So we can't do the surgery. But we'll still go ahead and do the blood work to make sure that we can do the surgery. So they did the blood work, everything came out fine. There's a couple of things that were a little elevated, but he wasn't too concerned about it. And he's like, okay, now we have 2 options. You can bring him back, you take him home, feed him, bring him back in the afternoon, but he has to be observed for a few hours after surgery. So he'll have to spend the night, or you can bring him back tomorrow morning. Just don't feed him as early as you did. Obstacle course. And then you got scooters and cars parked over there. So now we have to get up early and take him to the vet again tomorrow because we fed him too early. The Philippine people, God love them, and I do, but they are trained a certain way, and you can't do anything different than the way that they were trained. Well, perfect example of that. He ate at 3. They said not to feed him after late, so he didn't. But he was fed at 3, so it was too early. So now we have to go back. I've had to go into the hospital a few times and have blood work done. And when you go in and have blood work done on some of the things, the blood work, they're like, okay, no eating 12 hours before you have your blood work done. So you go in and you say, they'll say, how long has it been since you ate? And I'll say, well, 14 hours, because it's been over 12 hours. And they'll say, oh, that's too late. You have to come back. It has to be 12 hours. So I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and eat something so I can get my 12 hours. Because you go in the morning, because you can't eat, so you go in the morning. So after you have your blood work, you can go get breakfast. But if it's longer than 12 hours, they won't do it. Or they'll say, we'll do it, but we'll put in a memo that, you know, it had been 13 hours since your last date. So if you want to go get blood work done, they'll say, oh, 12 hours. And if you go in and say, oh, it's been 11 hours or 13 hours, anything other than 12 hours, they'll say, oh, no, we can't do it. So I've actually talked to another friend about that. We'll just lie. You know, if it's been 13, 14 hours, we'll go, oh yeah, it was 12 hours. But like I said, they don't know how to think out of the box here. You go to a restaurant and you order a bacon cheeseburger, but they don't have bacon. They'll say, oh, sorry, sir, out of stock. They won't say, well, here I am, next day, finishing my video. About halfway, a little over halfway through my walk, my GoPro decided to turn itself off. It kept saying repairing file and would shut off. Kept doing it over and over and over and over. So finally I just gave up. I don't know if it was overheating, if it was a media mod. When I Googled it, it said it had something to do with the SD card, but SD card is what came with it, and it seems to be working right now. But I'm not using the media mod. I'm just using the GoPro. But what I was saying was that there's so many things that are frustrating. You go to a store and you want to get 10 of something, and they only have 5. They'll say out of stock. And you have to question them, you know, and ask questions, and they're like, oh, we have 5, and they're like, well, then I'll just take the 5, you know, but you wanted 10, so they'll say out of stock. Go to a restaurant. I worked in restaurants when I was going to college, waited tables, and you would seat the people, give them their menu, bring them their drinks, stop and check back numerous times, make sure they didn't need anything, bring them the food, then you go back a little bit later, how's your food, any questions, you know, and then you would hit your neighbor tables, you know, hit everything at once. Here, they'll bring you the menu, they'll take your order, then they'll bring your food, and then you don't see them again. You gotta flag them down if you want anything, you gotta flag them down to get your bill. Customer service, unless you're at a really nice resort, is very lacking here. So yeah, there's a lot of things small things that frustrate you, and you know, the way that people drive here will pass you on the left and turn right. They'll pass you on their shoulder and then turn left, and I'll pull right up in front of you. There's just so many things that are very frustrating here, but I still love it here. I think the people are great, and couldn't imagine living anywhere else. Like I said, I still haven't been to Vietnam or Thailand, but I do love the Philippines. But no matter where you live, there's going to be pluses and minuses. And that's just kind of my take of living here for 4 years. And I appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out my video. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you next video.